So this has not been opened. So it's,
Oh, there's loads of worms in it, though. Hello.
well, that's wood chip at the top. Just that was my just to finish it off. Yeah, he's got it down through there.
There she is.
Yeah, he's got insects in it. So
That's okay.
we've got good.
Yeah.
There's a fine sign of, that's a microbe, that's obviously Phacelia. There it is, all from the wood chip. This is why we put the wood chip on top. It's our own wood chip. Yep, I mean, that's obviously started breaking down really nicely. Again, it's the system.
So what's collected from, what's collected to go into here?
So to start with, we were taking every waste, and that was meat, plate scrapings and everything else, but we obviously had to be very careful with the meat going back into the food chain. So
yep,
basically
understand.
Now it is all vegetable, bread, scraps from the kitchen come up. They have a special bin that obviously you very kindly gave us, which has worked really well, because it means that we don't have to go down every day and collect it. So it stays in, it comes back in here. I layer it, I treat it with EM. I use either the bran, which we still got some of your bran, and I also use some of our own coffee grains as well. And then we layer it until it's chocker. I like putting wood chip over the top.
Yeah, gives it a good seal.
Microbes, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, they're not perfect, so what we're looking at is putting a metal drain pipes in it. So you know, Martyn, the maintenance man, used to be a plumber, so we're going to put proper, so we don't have the problems. Again, learning from the experience. But we've had some really good results, which I can show you. We haven't got a lot of it left. Right, these are our aerating compost bins. So we have different carbon. Again, this is evolving, so we were going to have carbon in one, green waste, wood chip, bokashi, to make our own compost. So what I'm going to show you inside here is what's left of last year's bokashi. As you can see, there's still remnants of animal bones. So this can only be used for ornamental.
Yeah.
For our ornamental beds and ornamental compost.
So this had meat in it, this one, didn't it?
Yeah. And again, what we did, because of the worms, basically putting it into basically a worm bin, the bokashi, when we emptied it out, was a layer, made a donut around the outside of horse manure, and then layered it.
So to explain why we're using it for ornamental, the reason being in the UK, unfortunately, we have rules and regulations. Unfortunately, the government don't really understand the whole thing when it comes to composting. No. So bokashi, unfortunately, at the moment is in between PAS 100 and PAS 110. We are working with DEFRA to try and have this education. Fermentation equals safe, so pathogens like E. coli and Salmonella. Yep. We've had Iceland reports, so Iceland, the country, they're doing some bokashi over there. They've inoculated with E. coli and Salmonella, yep. 0 pathogens, and we know it's safe, but unfortunately in the UK, no. We still can't do that. So when you came to us and I said, you know, we were discussing it, you did the right thing, and you know, for meat and etc., ornamental, because there's no rules and regulations for that. No. But I've tested this, yeah. and I gave you results. Yeah. It was fully safe. There was no E. coli or Salmonella in it, and no harmful pathogens. Also, no harmful metals as well. Yeah. So, you know, from that data, you can obviously utilise it. But at the moment, yeah, you need to obviously use it just for ornamental. Yeah,
and we've seen some amazing results using it in the plants, the growth, the health of the plants. You know, the whole basis is.
And this is the thing, is the disease side, and this is what most people, you know, forget about, is that if you can help that root system and that plant to be able to get nutrients, etc., from other areas, using obviously, you know, the carbon content, yeah. and you know, the good bacteria, yeah. And the fungi to then communicate through that. It's actually a really simple system, because nature just talks to nature, and then from there it then creates its own immune system. Yes. You know, there is a lot of science with people that have, you know, putting their hands in soil on a regular basis, how they get less ill than people that don't. And that's just to do
immune system, and this is the same as, you know, obviously as the generations grow up now, how many people get asthma and everything, because everything you use is an antibacterial. So you're not only killing the bad bacteria, you're killing the good guys.
Yeah.
You know, so that balance our own, you know, whole
And
nature.
hopefully with the education you do here in the
Yes,
future,
yes.
we will get kids being able to play in mud again and playing in soil.
And eat worms.
And eat
I
worms
used to,
at this point.
It probably explains a lot of my problems.
Yeah.
But yes, so that's the end product when it's gone really well. So,
Cool. Vermicomposting.
Yep.
So this, when I first came to have a look at this, I was very impressed with the size. But now you realise that actually it takes a long time to fill one of these up. So this in here is what?
Well, we started off at the bottom. There's a lattice effect of ropes. So the idea was, once the worms are settled and it takes quite a long time and build up the layer slowly, you can then riddle the bottom and then compost will come out the bottom, or obviously worm digest. So we brought in 3 kilos of worms for this whole entire unit. So we started off with the rope, then we put cardboard, horse manure, and some greens from the garden, and each time we layer it up and then we put cardboard over the top to keep the moisture in. So I'm going to say this should be, I can actually reach into it for a change because it's been so low, but because it's dry the worms are going quite deep, but you can see all the tiger worms, quite a lot of them going through, and that is a very good obviously for making our own potting compost. And I also put EM in this. I spray this, or if I have any byproducts from my EM, will go into this. So again, it's a highly inoculated soil. So that's why very rarely do you see any bad growth. As you see the growth here, it's good growth because it's white.
Yep. So there's an old myth that I don't know if you've got any citrus in here at all. Have you got any like lemons and stuff like that?
What, growing?
No, lemons as in you're feeding the worms. Have you fed them anything citrusy?
Not really, no.
No. So just something that I've learnt from America with vermicomposting. You say that they don't like it. If you bokashi it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they've completely changed the structure.
Yeah. So they like
acidity.
It. Yeah. And I think this is the thing, especially with worms. If you bokashi before you put it into the system, it's like fast food for them. It's not really
like
just
McDonald's. No, it is. Yeah, definitely. So again, you know, there is bokashi being put in this.
Yeah.
Well, some of that bokashi.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we've had small bits, and when I've had stuff come back from the pub, like I said, when there wasn't enough to open that up, I would inoculate it, and then it would go in here.
Yeah.
So we have different ways of utilising.
And this is what I like about your system, and we'll talk obviously about your windrow in a minute, but you're looking at every part of composting, not just one part of composting, because aeration, anaerobic, vermicomposting all have a place.
Yeah, the balance, which is again what a forest floor would be. You know, so that's the generation of what we need.